Morning, Joby. Good morning to all of Tobago. It's a pleasure to be here and happy Carnival Week.
Yes, indeed. All right, I want to start with I Choose Sports. It's your initiative, or is it from the Ministry of Sports?
Yes, we developed I Choose Sport last year after going to Jamaica and interacting with the Jamaican government and Ministry of Sport, GC Foster and the other technical entities over there. We looked at why Jamaica has been so successful over the years, and it is because they've made sport a part of their culture. We had the opportunity to witness Boys and Girls Champs, which was 110 years old at the time. We saw how they utilized the schools as the main source of finding athletes, training athletes, and so on. And we know in Trinidad and Tobago, we didn't have a structured school program or a mandatory school program. Whilst in Jamaica, the principals of the secondary school, once you become principal, you know automatically you are part of ISA, you're part of the Secondary School Sport Association. So in the past, Trinidad and Tobago has tried live sport. That didn't last too long, and the intentions, what came out of it wasn't good. So we developed I Choose Sport, and as Minister of Sport, I felt it fit to promote a culture of having students aspire to be athletes also. And because our problem is based on our culture and our beliefs that to participate in sport while in school, it keeps you back from academics, and children shouldn't play in school, and when it's common entrance time, they pull you out of sports and so on. And so it's about changing the way we think, changing the way we operate, and making sports mandatory, accessible, and affordable. Because there are some children who want to participate in sport, but their parents don't have the money to send them to club. And Trinidad and Tobago sports system, especially in athletics, is based on a club system. Most people don't have the money to send the children to club. So if it's mandatory in the schools, they'll have access, and once the government is paying for it, it would be affordable to them.
I know Julie will take you further with I Choose Sport, but I want to get another bite of your cherry, which is the cherry of the I Empower TT. I was there and I was blown away at the presentation when there were graduates, and success story that came out of that. Anybody who is promoting anything for young people, it doesn't matter, you have to applaud it, and I applaud the initiative undertaken by you. Where is Empower TT presently? There are young men who are now skilled, given the opportunity that was presented through this initiative. Just an update as to where we are with Empower TT.
Empower TT is another project that made up and built in the Ministry of Sport and Community Development. Well, it started when I was at youth. I came out of the youth development background, as I used to be president of the Tobago Youth Council, and based on my experience in youth work, that's how I developed these programs coming out of interaction with youth. So Empower TT is geared towards working with young men who have lost their way, they drop out of school, don't have any subjects, don't know where they're going to go to next, or how to get back on track and pursue their dreams. We provide a safe space for men to share experiences, for older, more experienced, seasoned, wiser men to share with young men, and we expose them to life skills training, and we give them an apprenticeship in an area of where they want their career development, or where they want to go as it relates to entrepreneurship. We've completed 2 cohorts of Empower TT, both in Trinidad and in Tobago, because whatever my ministry offers, I make sure that Tobago gets to participate and benefit from it too. And we intend to go into a next cycle of Empower TT before the end of this first quarter in November.
Okay, this is the first time we have a conversation with you post-budget presentation. We heard of the exemptions from sporting equipment, so that was a highlight, and you can elaborate more on that. But in terms of the overall budget allocated to
the ministry, Ministry of Sport, we got a little over $400 million. I think it's about $438 million. That covers both all recurrent and all development expenditure. and we're going to make the very best of it. Of course, we didn't get what we requested. We didn't even get 50% of what we requested. We requested about $1.6 billion because we have to do the refurbishment of the different stadia. We have 6, and the nationals, like the National Cycling Velodrome, the National Swimming Center, and so on. We have our sporting programs to run, and remember, it's not only sport, it's community development. So in Trinidad and Tobago, you have over 300 community centers, and the Ministry of Sport and Community Development is responsible for the building and refurbishment, for staffing them, for running programs through the different centers. And alongside that, you have the community recovery programs like Grow It Yourself, Empower TT. You have the Boss Lady Project, which is very similar to Empower TT. We're working with unemployed women, putting them on track and equipping them with skills so that they can start their own businesses. We're working with NEDCO and Ministry of Trade to provide apprenticeship for them. Also, then we have DCAMP, which is the Dream Chasers mentorship program, where we prepare young people for the world of work and entrepreneurship. So sports, community development, the same one budget. We have Prime Minister's Best Village Trophy competition already also operating out of that budget. The mediation units and services also operate out of that same budget. So it's tight.
But I saw 170 million or so. I saw it circulating recently, allocated towards the sport company at Trinidad and Tobago. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that is part of the $400 million. Yeah. So sport company is the implementation arm of the Ministry of Sport and Community Development. They are responsible for the maintenance of the larger sporting facilities, so the Dwight York Stadium, the Hasty Crawford Stadium, the G&P Complex, the Manny Ram John, the Atto Bolan, the Larry Gomes Stadium, the National Racket Center, the National Swimming Center, Cycling Center, Woodbrook Sporting and Youth Facility. They're all under Sport TT. Under this allocation, we also deal with the welfare of athletes. We provide funding to the national governing bodies through that allocation also, and give support to community sport and athletes. So we try to make a little go a long way. Of course, we wish we had more. But the reality is we are where we are economically, so we're working with what we have.
And you spoke about the Racket Center, so before I surf back to Brother B, in terms of, so we are hearing talks about a cricketing ground in Tobago. In terms of making that a reality, would part of the allocation at some point in time in the fiscal budget be considered to work in collaboration with the allocation?
That's not a part of our allocation for this year. If that's sport development in Tobago is under the Tobago House of Assembly.
Strictly.
And if it's, and if that's if we help out, of course. Sport development in Tobago is a fifth schedule matter, so it's under the Tobago House of Assembly. So the sporting facilities, the indoor facility that is supposed to be built or started and has stopped, the Goodwood Pavilion that has started and stopped, the different playing fields and recreational spaces in Tobago, all under the Tobago House of Assembly. I've heard the Tobago House of Assembly talk about developing a cricket facility in Tobago, all well and good, but this allocation, this national allocation isn't, the cricket facility is not a part of that. I know also the House of Assembly has a facility where they can do loan funding for to the tune of $300 million. That is something that was recently approved, probably about 3-4 years old. It was passed by this government. Without the support of the opposition, we were able to pass that. And the THA had been clamoring for that for some years. So outside of their allocation, there is a $300 million loan facility that they could access. Excellent. And at the point in time when that was on the table, Tobago was talking about developing sporting facilities. So I'm hoping.
We could spend the whole morning talking about sports, but obviously you have other responsibilities. Let's deal with your constituency. You're a member for Tobago West. And of course, the airport. Let's talk about that first. Where are we in terms of delivery? 2025 is when it's supposed to be.
We're looking at delivering by the second or third quarter in 2025. I'm excited about this development, about this piece of infrastructure, because I think that it's a game changer as it relates to providing economic activity and improvement to Tobago. It will help to boost our tourism sector. I remember when I was Minister of Tourism, we had to pay so much to get people to fly to Tobago, to get airlines to fly to Tobago. We found it difficult to fill the front of the plane because we didn't have the kind of facility and amenities in our airport, and this new airport would provide us the ability to attract bigger airlines and more business, especially first class passenger. It's about the Tobago House of Assembly now on the ground, upgrading or products and services. We as Tobagonian improving our services, making sure that we have the right accommodation and the standards.
All right. The Minister of Finance, Colin Bird, spoke about the return of a particular hotel. Brand was not announced. We did not know. We are speculating, not we, but the public is speculating that it's the return of Sandals at that Buku estate. Is there any truth to that? And what do you want to how do you speak to that to bring the correct narrative?
I like to always speak from a place of truth and providing the facts. And as it relates to that, I know that the government is pursuing getting a 5-star facility or big name facility, something that is attractive to the modern day tourists, to those who are looking to come to Tobago for that type of tourism. So the name of the hotel, I'm unable to say as yet. We can't confirm if it's Sandals, or I would love to hope that Sandals would
you would hope. I will stay there, Minister.
On Tobago again.
Well, there has been complaints that
we have Marriott.
But I want to just stay with that for simple 5-star. Obviously, if we have a new airport, we need to have a 5-star hotel to accommodate the high-end guests.
Yes.
All right. So the last controversy, or the brand left because there was so much controversy surrounding that. What led to the controversy is that the state was going to build the hotel and have this brand occupied. Is it the same approach going forward with this new?
No, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. And I think that part of what caused the Sandals arrangement to crash is people were talking about things that were not happening. We hadn't gotten to that stage of as to what the hotel is going to look like, exactly what is going to happen. The consultations with the public had not even been finalized. None of that had happened as yet, and there was a lot of talking and negative energy about what people imagine or what people think is going to happen. We hadn't gotten to that stage yet. You had a lot of persons saying, don't let it happen under the P. And then when Watson Duke said, when we get in power, we would do it. And we have to take the politics out of our development, because we would see that politicians come and go. Party colors and names change, but we the people of Tobago continue to rest on our Tobago House of Assembly and rely on our government for development. These little children would not care about party color and party name. They are looking for opportunities for entrepreneurship, to develop their wild ideas. If you talk to little children now, the kind of dreams and aspirations that they have, we have to drive the type of economic activity to fund and finance and support their dreams and aspirations. You have a man like Juby doing his soca and so on. He wants facilities, he wants programs. I had the opportunity to sit next to Iowa, flying from Trinidad to Tobago, and this man's mind is genius as to where he wants to take soca, and we need to have the programs and the facilities in order to develop the creative industry. I think that is something that we have so rich in Tobago, particularly in Tobago. We are resourceful people, are creative people. People like to say that we extra, but we put our heart and everything into everything we give in performing and so on. It's Tobago that won Lauren Rive this year, and she was untouchable. You couldn't even think twice when you see the kind of quality that she brought to the stage. So it's about building and nurturing or what we are good at, you know. So it's more than just having a good airport. It's the products and services to support what the type of business that the airport is going to bring. You bring in more tourists into here. You're talking about people to do laundry. You're talking about people to manage hotels, people to places for them to be entertained, taxi drivers. Everybody would have the opportunity to do better by this game changer. So that's why I'm really excited about it.
What about those who are looking at, well, the recently read budget and dubbing it or describing it as an election budget? I mean, election is around the corner, and there's also the argument that, and we saw officially Mr. Dennis now becoming a senator. There are the talks that persons would say from time to time that the Tobago representatives in Trinidad are not necessarily doing enough. How do you respond to that?
To each his own. Everybody going to say, we're in the game of politics. Somebody is always going to say they can do it better. That is people outside and people inside your own party. So it's, and Tobago is a very politically charged place. I have sat in government and I've sat in opposition, so I've been in town long enough to understand the way this thing works. The same way we as Tobagonians come to the fore and come to the table with all concerns and all plans for development for Tobago, every other 39 constituencies in Trinidad, they have their dreams and aspirations and what they want for their electoral district or their constituency also. To say that the MPs for Tobago East and West have not brought development to Tobago, it is these two MPs sitting on the cabinet. We have the promised airport that so many administrations had promised over the years. Even the UNC had said the billions that we're going to spend on the airport is too much to spend in Tobago. It's under these two MPs you have sitting in this cabinet that we got two spanking new ferries, not rented, not leased, but new ferries that we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, own. Top class, world class ferries could stand up next to any other across the region and across the world. It is under these two MPs that we finally had Roxborough Police Station, Shervan Police Station, Roxborough Administrative Complex. It is under these two Tobago MPs that we sought to bring sandals and it was shut down. It is under these Tobago MPs that we are here pursuing the marinas. Yes, it is under these two Tobago MPs sitting on the cabinet that we've been able to accomplish bringing the Children's Authority to Tobago and so many other different services to Tobago. The long promise since I was a little girl going to Mason Hall Government School, we've been promised that the Hillsborough Dam situation would be fixed. It is here we spend $80 million to do that. It's under these two MPs that you have the expansion of the electricity capacity down at Cove at $125 million and the wastewater treatment plant brought to Tobago through the IDB project at $139 million. Need I go say more? And the projects and programs that are run in Trinidad are also happening in Tobago. It's under these two MPs that we brought back self-help that was cut off from Tobago. Remember in 2013 when the UNC did not win a seat in Tobago, they cut off many of the services offered by central government in Tobago, and it's under these two MPs that happened. And I could give you a list of more and more agricultural incentives. So whilst the agro-processors and farmers can apply to the THA, they can also apply to the Ministry of Agriculture and they get the $100,000 grant and so on. So all businesses to ensure, though the bulk of the development in Tobago is under the Tobago House of Assembly, interestingly, I don't hear Tobagonians asking their representatives and their THA, how did you spend your money? What about development? What about our children's future? What are we doing here? What are we planning for? As they say, the MPs have not done anything for Tobago, and you see these things right before your eyes and you have access. The athletes in Tobago are applying for funding in central government. The groups in Tobago are applying for funding and they are getting it. We don't know, the Tobagonians are asking, how do we apply for grants in the Tobago House of Assembly? This Lalon Gordon Fund, is it operating? Do you know of athletes who have gotten funding from the Lalon Gordon Fund? Can you direct me as to where to find the application form? How come Tobagonians not asking these questions? Tobagonians are concerned about what's happening with track on the Dwight York Stadium, Hazy Crawford Stadium, and rightly so. But nobody's asking about the playing facilities in their areas. What's happening at Shaw Park? What's happening at the indoor facility?
Let's stick up in 1 minute. Let's come now to this weekend. It's Tobago Carnival.
Yes.
the fourth offering.
Yes.
We gotta go. We're just lastly getting visitors to and from the island. You have the air bridge where we were told that added flights. Was there any input from the representatives from Tobago?
Of course,
yourself?
we sit on the cabinet, and the conversation happens at the level of the cabinet, and the passing of cabinet notes happen at cabinet. I know that we have had Carl making the commitment to bring on more flights. They have added more flights. I spoke to Carl this morning also, and they are releasing seats incrementally, because I recognize that in releasing seats you have some persons taking it in bulk. I see even some carnival bands offering seats. So when it come on there, so you can buy your seat with your costume. So they are grabbing it up. So what Carl is doing is putting the seats on incrementally. We had discussion at the level of the cabinet, and Minister Imbut was instructed by the Prime Minister to get Carl to put on back some late flights, not only for the carnival but outside
because
of the carnival season. At 8:45. The last flight has been 8:45, 45, but we have to also acknowledge the fact that sometimes those days of flights had 3 and 4 and 5 passengers. So what Carl had to do is look at the patterns as to which are the heavier nights that we can sort of guarantee the passengers to come to Tobago, look at it against international flights and so on. But as you said, it's carnival this weekend, and I'm encouraging everybody, don't drink and drive, be safe, come out and enjoy yourself. There's so many things I would like to see for the carnival in going forward, that we advertise earlier, that we have we know a date so people can plan accordingly. Like right now, we know when it's Hyatt Line, we know when it's St. Mary's College Fete, we know what's happening for next year carnival, so you could plan those coming from abroad. We're not only about entertaining Tobagoans and Trinidadians, we want people to come from far and wide, and in order to do so properly, we have to plan. So I'm urging the Assembly to bring the calendar.
You're playing mass, right?
No, I don't master it anymore. I'm under new management, Brother B.
Okay, all right. Thank you for being here. Always a pleasure, and of course, all the best to you. We go for a break.